Hey everybody, Ace Trainer Liam here and welcome to another episode of Form Fight. For those who are new to Form Fight, it's where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form or a branched evolution or counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between the Pokemon in question and we try and work out which one is the best. And this is part 2 of a 3-part Form Fight. Follow along. If you're already a fan of Form Fight and you're ready for more, make sure you hit the like button to show that you're enjoying the series and hit subscribe if you're new so that you never miss an episode. With all that out of the way, let's look at today's challenges. Today is part 2 of a 3-part Form Fight, and today we're going to be comparing the two forms of Latias, which are Latias and Mega Latias. Now when you have Latias in your party, it will always be in its regular form. However, a Latias holding Latiasite will be able to Mega Evolve into Mega Latias and will remain that way for the entirety of the battle it's in. But what makes these two forms of Latias so different? Let's take a look. According to the Pokedex, regular Latias stands at 1.4 meters tall and weighs 40 kilograms. As for Mega Latias, it stands at 1.8 meters tall and weighs 52 kilograms. Both these Pokemon share a Pokedex entry which reads Latias is highly sensitive to the emotions of people. If it senses any hostility, this Pokemon ruffles the feathers all over its body and cries shrilly to intimidate the foe. Latias is highly intelligent and capable of understanding human speech. It's covered with a glass-like down. The Pokemon enfolds its body with its down and refracts light to alter its appearance. Looking at their appearance, both forms of Latias look like, as we said before with Latios, crosses between birds and airplanes. That's where the inspiration comes from. With Latias being red and white, and Mega Latias, much like Mega Latios, being purple and white, with more detailed wing design. In their shiny forms, regular Latias changes its red colouring to bright gold, and Mega Latias simply does what Mega Latios does and switches up its purple parts for that rank greeny colour. Now let's take a look at their typing, weaknesses and resistances. Both forms of Latias, much like their counterparts Latios and Mega Latios, are both dual type Psychic and Dragon Pokemon. This makes them weak to Bug, Ghost, Ice, Dragon, Dark and Fairy type moves. Both these Pokemon resist fighting, fire, water, grass, electric and psychic attacks and have complete immunity to ground type moves. But not because of typing, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now let's take a look at the stats and abilities of these Pokemon form. Latias, like most legendary Pokemon, once again has fantastic stats. Although unlike Latios from last week, it's bulkier, with its better stats being in its special defense, but still with impressive special attack. As with Mega Latias, once again, as a Mega Evolution, it builds on the already impressive stats of its predecessor, gains even more bulk, gains even more attack power, and just basically is an improved version, stat-wise, of Latias. Both these Pokemon share the same single ability, which is Levitate, and we talked about Levitate before. It's an absolute blessing to be immune to any type. So having immunity to ground type moves is just the icing on the cake for a great Pokemon in the form of Latias or Mega Latias. Now it's time for me to decide which of these two forms of Latias I prefer, and honestly, it's dead easy. I prefer regular Latias. I mean, battle-wise, I prefer Mega because it's better, it's improved, it's everything that Latias has, just a more improved version. But again, I just prefer the look of regular Latias. Like, if I was going on appearance, I'd go regular. If I was going battle-wise, I would go with the Mega, just because the Mega doesn't look as cool to me. It looks a bit silly. But of course, it's not just up to me. It's up to you guys to decide which of these is your favourite. But before you decide, let's see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. It's time for the Metronome Battle. Before we get into it, I will point out these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They're not holding any held items. They've got neutral natures, the same abilities, the same typing. The only advantage or disadvantage any of these Pokemon get comes from their base stats. Everything else is all up to the Metronome. Let's go. So here's fight number 2 in our Latios and Latias 3-part special on Form Fight with the Eon duo in mind. We see Latias taking on its Mega Evolved form, Mega Latias. Let's see who comes out on top. Although remember, it's a Metronome Battle, it's just for fun, so don't get too butthurt if your favourite doesn't win. The Metronome Battles don't mean anything, we just like seeing them using cool moves, like Seed Flare from a Latias. Shiny Latias onto Shiny Mega Latias for a little bit of chip damage right there, not very effective. Here's regular Latias starting off with a beat up. That is going to do 2 super effective chippy bit of hits onto regular Latias there. How's it going to respond? It is going to respond and retaliate this turn with the Metronome, and it brings out Hurricane, and it's going to hit the Hurricane as well, which is impressive enough. Will it get the confusion on the Mega though? That was a decent amount of damage No confusion, but Shiny Mega is ready to make a move. What's it going to go for? Going to go for Constrict, which is, it's fine. It's going to do a tiny little bit of damage there. Barely even a couple of HP. What will happen on the next turn? Shiny Mega going to try and redeem itself after that weird first turn there with a Gunk Shot. Does have an opportunity to get the poison onto one of the Latios there. On the regular Latias with massive damage on regular Latias. Doesn't get the poison, but puts Latias in a lot of danger. Here's a Zap Cannon, but it is avoided by Shiny Latias there, as Shiny Latias looks to continue its onslaught. Goes for Acid Spray, which is going to land on the regular Latias there, and it's going to drop the special defense by 2 stages of that Mega, which is a very, very important thing to bear in mind because of the special attack power of Latias. There's a Vital Throw, not very effective, and of course physical, so didn't do a lot of damage. If that would have been a special move, it may have been a different story there. Here's Shiny Latias. What's he going to go for now? Going to go for Magnitude, which is a shame because it doesn't affect anybody on the field, but we do have to sit and watch everybody's Levitate activate. So thank you for that, Shiny Latias. Well done. You're the dunce of Form Fight this week. Here's regular Latias. Can it capitalize on its partner's folly there? Goes for Frost Breath. Oh my goodness. That's going to do massive damage, especially with that special attack drop. Down goes the Mega. This is almost shades of what we saw in the Latios Form Fight last week. Oh my goodness, it's down to just the Shiny Mega in a very difficult position. What's it got in store? It's going to go for Ember. Will it get a burn though on that Shiny Latias? It does get the burn, so that halves the physical attack of Shiny Latias and basically puts a timer on it. So it's going to struggle if it starts to let that burn whittle its health all the way down to the red. Here we see the Substitute come out from the Shiny Mega. That's an interesting play as well, because now these two Latias are going to have to break that Substitute if they want to damage this Mega, although it has removed some of its own HP. Crush Claw coming out, although it's not going to do a lot of damage because it's physical. From regular Latias there, barely even breaks the Substitute at all. And here we see a Teleport, which is going to completely fail. Still, Shiny Latias, you are the dunce of this form fight. What are you doing? Get your head in the game. Here we see regular Latias. What's it got in store here? I'm going to go for Simple Beam, which doesn't affect the Substitute, so well done there. Shiny Latias, could you do anything to this Substitute? What have you got in mind? I'm going to go for Feint Attack, and that is super effective. That will break the Substitute, I'm sure of it. Will it? There's the Substitute fading as Mega Latias comes back onto the field, ready to dish out more punishment if it can get a decent offensive move. Goes for Ally Switch. That's the furthest thing from a decent offensive move, as we see the burn still taking effect on Shiny Latias there. What's it going to do this turn? It needs something to remove the burn, really, or restore its own HP. Goes for a Low Kick, which, as we've seen, is not very effective on any of the Latias in this battle because they're also lightweight and psychic type. We see Magic Room coming out from regular Latias. So now the Magic Room will come into effect and held items lose their effect, which is completely pointless in these battles. Good job there, mate. Here we see the Shiny Latias. What's it got in store? Noble Roar. There we go. Onto the regular Latias there. So that is going to drop that Latias' attack and special attack, which isn't great for the Latias team, but it's still 2-on-1. So they still have the numbers advantage if they start using special attacks. Here's Mega Latias once again. What's it going to go for? Going to go for Strength this time, but of course it's not the most physical Pokemon. Although it does do a great amount of damage on that Latias there. That was fantastic with that strength. Here we go. Latias is going to go for Metal Claw. Will it see an increase in its attack stat? I mean, it's not really worth it, but it doesn't get the attack increase. That's unfortunate. Here is the Shiny Latias that's burned. Goes for a high jump kick. It's going to be pathetic. I mean, at least it hit it and didn't take crash damage. But remember, it's burned and it doesn't have a great attack stat. So that's really, really unfortunate there for the Latias team. They're really struggling to get it together. They need to work together and go 2-on-1 here to really pull out the victory. We see a heavy slam from a lightweight Pokemon. My goodness, that Latias should be wearing a collar with strategies like that. Here we see Shiny Latias. What's that going to go for now? It's going to go for Wonder Room and switch special defense and defense stats, I believe, with Wonder Room. I'm pretty sure. Yes, that's what it is. So interesting play there. Don't know if it's going to work in their favor. Here's Shiny Mega Latias going for Aqua Ring, going to restore its HP. Now this is interesting. This gives more staying power to the Mega Latias there. So that was a brilliant play, keeping itself in the game as the burn whittles away the Shiny Latias there. The Mega is going to continue to restore HP, and the Shiny Latias is going to slowly lose its HP as we see a Heart Swap coming out from that Latias. Not the switching stat changes. it's not going to be that great of a factor at this point in the battle, as we see Arm Thrust coming out from regular Latias for just, oh, please don't be 5 hits, because it's doing so little damage. There's 3 hits. Oh my goodness, is that health bar even moving? That's 4 hits, and gets the full 5 just to spite me. Thank you, Latias. Oh my goodness. Here comes Shiny Latias. Is it going to finally get it together and go for a decent move? Goes for Aqua Ring. So it's trying to counter its own burn. Now that's an interesting play. So well done to Shiny Latias there. It's going to get the Aqua Ring restoring. And then you see the Aqua Ring also restoring the Mega there. And then the burn will take effect and cancel out the Aqua Ring effectively. But at least it eliminates the threat of the burn for the majority of this battle. As we see, Shiny Latias is going to follow up once again with a Play Nice and reduce the attack stat of Shiny Mega Latias. That's fine, but you want to worry about its special attack, because that's where its prowess is, especially the fact that you've swapped your special attack and special defense and defense stats with the Wonder Room. There's an Acid Spray though, dropping the defense by the special defense by 2 stages. That's a very interesting play by the regular Latias there. Oh, we see a Shadow Bone coming out, though, from the Mega. Oh, my goodness, that did a great amount of damage to that Shiny Latias. But, of course, because there's not as much of a physical attack stat, it wasn't able to get the full effect of that Shadow Bone there. The burn still taking effect. The Aqua Ring still in play as well. Magic Room wore off, so held items that they don't have can now be used once again. Here comes Latias. What's it going to do to its Mega counterpart? Goes for a Bolt Strike. It's going to be resisted, but could do a decent amount of damage there. And it does barely anything, of course. I believe Bolt Strike might be physical, and that's why that didn't do a lot of damage. That's an unfortunate moment for that Latias there. Here comes Shiny Latias. What will it go for? Goes for Bullet Punch. Again, physical with a burn. Not going to do a great deal of damage there, but at least it was neutral damage and a crit for what it's worth. Here comes Shiny Mega Latias. What's it going to go for? It's going to go for a Pollen Puff. That's super effective. And it's going to be on... Oh my goodness, takes out Shiny Latias there. So it's down to Latias versus Shiny Mega Latias, who has Aqua Ring. The regular Latias really needs to pull something out of a hat, basically, at this point. It really needs to figure something out if it's going to win this battle. Goes for Seismic Toss. That will do a guaranteed 50 damage. Is it enough? It's not enough to take out the Mega, but brings it down to its level. Brings it down to the red. It's looking scary for the Mega, who goes for a Moonblast, though. It's over. Oh, my goodness. The Latias team almost turned it around, but that Moonblast was so... just the exclamation point on this battle. So Mega Latias wins it. Oh my goodness, but the Latias team did put up a good fight. They really did. So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, now it's time for you to make your decision. Which form of Latias do you prefer? Is it Latias or Mega Latias? Let me know in the comments and explain to everybody why your pick is the absolute best. That's where I'll leave it for this episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, this is part 2 of a 3-part Form Fight. So next week we will see Mega Latios versus Mega Latias and Regular Latios versus Regular Latias. Hit like if you enjoyed this episode, and of course hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss another episode of Form Fight. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.